Doctopus is a script written by a teacher that allows you to auto-generate, pre-share, and manage grading and feedback on template docs that you create within Google. To start the process, go to your Google Drive. Create a folder for a project sheet that you would like to share out with your students. Create folder. For this demo, I will call it History Unit 1. Open the folder and create two more documents. The first document will be your actual project sheet, the thing that you would like your students to work on or turn in for a grade. So for this tutorial, I will just create a document, name it Unit 1 Worksheet, push OK, and add a simple question. And close the worksheet. The next step is to create the spreadsheet that will be your master area for sending the individual sheets out to your students, grading them, and managing the assignment. So create spreadsheet. Name the spreadsheet. I will name mine Doctopus Unit 1 Grade Sheet. Okay. You are now ready to install the script. Click Insert, Script. Type Doctopus into the search box and then click Install. And the script gallery installation is installed, and I can close this page. Now you will see a Doctopus tab in your grade sheet. Click the Doctopus tab and do Launch Installation. This allows you now to actually launch the Doctopus script. Step 1 is your sharing basics step. Desired doc sharing. So the worksheet that you're going to send out in this tutorial, you have to decide how you'd like to share it. When you drop it down, you can see the different options. For this tutorial, I'll do individual, all the same, so they'll have all the same rights. This will populate a template in the background that you're going to copy paste your students from the daily planner into. Whole class access, I'm not going to grant the whole class any specific separate access. So I'm done with this part. And the next part says where are the student email addresses and information. They'll be on sheet 1. So I'm ready to click Save Settings. Step 2. Choose which documents to copy and distribute. So we put everything for this tutorial in History Unit 1. So I go to that folder. This is why it's important to make the folder before you start this process. So I click History Unit 1, and then you pick the items in the folder that you'd like to share out. So I called mine Unit 1 Worksheet. That's a document. Save Settings. Step 3 allows you to pick a destination folder. For this tutorial, I'm going to select a folder I've already made and put all of my students' worksheets right back in History Unit 1. You could create another folder and name it something else and then use this same spreadsheet over and over again if you want to. So that's something you can think about. How do you want the file actually named when it's shared out with your students? So for this tutorial, I will say Unit 1 Worksheet hyphen space, and then you can see that you could include their name automatically by doing $, student name. Do you want to notify the document editors immediately upon sharing? Sure. So then your students will get an automatic email. And then you can push, and you can enter an email subject for them. The default is I've shared you on a document, which doesn't sound that great. So you could just say Unit 1 worksheet. And you might want to put history in there because your students might be getting these from other teachers as well. Click Save Settings. You could type a note in there too and say this assignment's due by March 18th, something like that. Click Save Settings. Step 4 is actually distributing the document out to your students, and we need to get your student information in there first, so we'll click Exit. And we'll return to step 4 when we have that information in place. The next step in the process is to enter all of your student names and email addresses in the spreadsheet. You can watch the tutorial we have on doing copy-pasting that information from the daily planner if you'd like. For this demo, I'm going to delete the information that's here and just put in one sample student, John Smith. And his email address is 995301 at fargoschools.org. And I don't need the flag categories in there because I'm not doing groups. Now I can go back to Doctopus and initiate this process. Now you can envision that you'd have 20 students here or 30 students in this list. I'm just going to have one student for this tutorial. So go back to Doctopus, step 3, save settings, which will bring up step 4. And step 4, everything looks good. Run, copy, and share. Okay, and that might take a few seconds depending on how many students you have in your class. All documents were successfully shared out. Please explore the Doctopus menu for grading and feedback options. Push OK. Now that Doctopus has shared the document or assignment out with all of your students, let's go see what it looks like for a student. So I'm going to switch over to my 995301 sample student user. That student will go to their Google Drive. They will be able to click their Shared with Me, and they will see the Unit 1 worksheet with their name on it shared out to them that they need to complete. They click the worksheet, answer the question, and close the worksheet. Then I'll go back to my teacher account. So back in the teacher account, we can close this grade sheet, and then in the actual History Unit 1 folder where we have the Doctopus grade sheet and then the worksheet that we distributed out, you'll have a separate worksheet for every student in your class. So in this tutorial I have one for John Smith. You'll have 28 more or 29 more with all your students' names after them automatically. So then when you want to correct this assignment, you would open the one for John Smith and you could see what his answer was Monday. And this is a document that's shared just between you and John Smith. So if you wanted to do a comment by right-clicking on Monday Comment, you could add comments in there to him and give him feedback and do your grading. And close the worksheet. And then it's time to go back to the grade sheet. And you'd be able to go into the grade category and enter your grade, whether it's a letter grade or percentage grade or whatever you'd like to put in there. From the Doctopus grade sheet, you can also just access the worksheet quickly from the spreadsheet. So here's Unit 1 worksheet for John Smith. When I click on it, I can actually go to that link and it'll open that document up. So if I forgot what I was working on there or what I gave him for a grade or whatever I need to, I can close that tab and I'm right back into the Doctopus sheet. Next to the letter grade that you give each student, you can actually provide written feedback in the column next to the grade. Once the grading period is over for this assignment and you'd like to lock all of the assignments and change all the sharing rights to view only, go back to the Doctopus menu and select Embargo for grading, set editors to view only, and then push OK. And then push OK on the next screen. Now you're ready to actually send the email out to all your students with their grades. So go back to Doctopus and send personalized emails to students. On this screen, you can see that the recipient email address is correct. That's the $ student email. The email subject is going to be feedback on, and then it's going to include the link to the actual assignment for each individual student. In the body of the email, you can see that there's a line for Dear Student. If you'd like to take out the word student, you can, and then replace it with the $, student name field code, so that automatically puts the student's name in there. Your grade on the doc is, and all that coding is correct, so you don't have to worry about that. Written feedback, also see my comments, that's all good. And then at the bottom, you might want to just say, where it says your teacher, you can just put in your name like Mr. Ingen. And if you want to keep the best in there, it's up to you, I guess. You can just say sincerely, or you can just put your name in there and save and send emails. And I only had one student, so one email went out. Push OK. So now if we go to the student's email so you can see what that looks like, I'm in the sample student user here, and here's a subject feedback on Unit 1 worksheet for John Smith. The student opens, and then they can see your grade on the doc is an A, and here's the link right to the worksheet, so if they need to look it over again, they can. Once you have a Doctopus unit, Doctopus